What is the Sky High?
The Sky High is a complete curriculum with research-based information and unbiased resources for professionals who are providing family-centered programming to families with young children ages 0 to 5 who are deaf or hard of hearing. It has a number of resources that can be used by the parent advisor and the family. It is not a step-by-step program. So the program is used for children who have hearing loss. The hearing loss can be profound or mild, bilateral or unilateral, conductive or sensory neural.
Who is the Sky High for?
The Sky High is for infants and young children 0 to 3 that are deaf or hard of hearing. However, it can be used for children up to 5.
What does the Sky High focus on?
The Sky High focuses on family-centered services. They believe that all family members should be included, which is a very unique aspect to this program.
The Sky High is contained into 2 volumes. The first volume is called Basics and Getting Started, Special Needs. The first section is the introduction to the Sky High curriculum. The second section is the Essentials section. It describes the philosophy and the features of the Sky High. The assessment section is next. It is designed to help parent advisors understand how assessment can be fully integrated with the Sky High curriculum and how it can be implemented to support the needs of children and families. The first visit and family support section is next. It has 2 parts. The first part helps parent advisors involve families in meaningful ways. The second part enables the parent advisor to provide emotional support to the families. The infant 0 to 12 months section focuses on infant development and the unique challenges encountered by families with a baby who is deaf or hard of hearing. The hearing aid section has 10 topics. The topics include the cochlear implant section may be helpful to parent advisors as they support parents during this diagnostic process and the intervention process. Once families have decided to pursue the option of a cochlear implant for their child, each topic can be covered as the family goes through the evaluation, surgery, mapping, and intervention processes. The Being Deaf, Basic Communication Issues and Approaches section is organized into 3 main parts. The first part explores the joys and challenges of having a child with hearing loss, deafness as a culture and not as a disability, and basic ways that individuals with hearing loss communicate and relate to the world. The second part on communication issues for the infant and young child who is deaf or hard of hearing, including the vital issue of early language access and the issues of families taking first steps to using basic communication approaches. The last part focuses on real-life experiences of being deaf and of parenting young children with hearing loss. The earliest interaction section focuses on general communication challenges and strategies that will help parents establish comfortable and effective early communication with their young child. The natural environment section is next. It focuses on using the family's natural daily routines and activities for skill, practice, and use. The play and concept development section will assist families to recognize play as an important avenue of the child's overall development, identify milestones in the child's thinking skills, and use play to stimulate the child's language and communication development. It also creates environments where play is encouraged and assists the child to develop social skills and peer relationships through play. The young children with special needs includes the following sections: additional special needs, challenging behaviors, auditory neuropathy, minimal, mild, unilateral, and cognitive syndromes, and other medical conditions, and sensory integration.
Volume 2 is titled Early Communication, Language, and Literacy. It focuses more on interventions. The first tab included in the second volume is the Early Visual Communication Program. This makes it possible for families of young children who are deaf to communicate visually with the child in a way that is comfortable, effective, and fun. The Early Spoken Language through Audition provides families with the knowledge and strategies needed for helping their child who has a hearing loss to learn to talk and listen. The Early Auditory Learning is a program for young children with hearing loss that includes the following components: the child's full-time wearing of the appropriate listening equipment, including hearing aids or cochlear implant, monitoring the child's listening equipment by an audiologist and the family on a regular basis, and 3, incorporating auditory learning into the daily routines of the child and family. The next section is communication methodologies, and this provides follow-up and elaboration of the 3 topics introduced in this section, being deaf, basic communication issues, and approaches. The next section, Signing English, also known as SIMCOM, is an intervention that involves speaking and signing at the same time. Bilingualism, biculturalism, also known as Bi-Bi, enhances the child's early language and literacy development by learning and using American Sign Language and English and respecting the 2 cultures, hearing and deaf. Oral language is a system of communication that focuses on the hearing and speaking of the language. The cued speech section discusses the history and rationale of the cued speech system and describes its purpose for building a mental model of spoken language in the deaf child's mind. The literacy program is devoted to helping families inspire their child in interest in literacy and love of books. It is devoted to encouraging the unfolding of the child's earliest literacy skills.
Ski High training courses are available from the Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind for people who are interested in obtaining a Sky High certificate. To see available training dates, access the Florida School for the Deaf and the Blind website or the Sky High website. Training is available to school district personnel, Florida Department of Education professionals, university affiliates, ITDs, and others with the backgrounds in fields related to deafness, such as deaf education, special education, speech therapy, audiology, and early childhood education, who are currently working with or are interested in working with families with young children who are deaf or hard of hearing, and their families. You must have a bachelor's degree to participate in the Sky High training courses.
The section of the curriculum that we will be focusing on is the Bi-Bi. This is how a typical lesson plan may go. The materials that will be used are the Bi-Bi brainstorming activity sheet, the Sky High brochure, the children's book, and the Bi-Bi building bridges between ASL and English worksheet. To begin, the speech language pathologist will discuss components of the Sky High curriculum with the parents. Using the Sky High brochure, the SLP will explain a brief overview and discuss the importance of family involvement.
Family involvement is crucial with the Sky High. Research has shown that children will make better gains with families that are involved every step of the way.
More specifically, the SLP will discuss the 5 rules that parents have to use to be considered Bi-Bi and their importance. Rule number 1. Encourage families to create a plan for introducing ASL and English into their homes and lives in comfortable and meaningful ways. Rule number 2. Be careful not to mix the 2 languages when speaking to your child. Rule number 3. Allow the child to code switch while expressing themselves because they are young and playing with language. Rule number 4. Make every possible effort to include members of the deaf community and other children who are deaf in the lives of families who want to create a Bi-Bi. Rule number 5. Encourage the family members to relax and enjoy their child and their communication with their child.
Bi-Bi involves the learning and the use of ASL and English to merge the hearing and deaf cultures. Bi-Bi facilitates the use of both ASL and English or ASL in your native language, allowing the child to have whole language that they can control and use.
In the next portion of the lesson, the speech-language pathologist will brainstorm with the parents on specific ideas for bridging English and ASL through use of the Bi-Bi brainstorming activity sheet. The parents will write in each designated circle. The circles are labeled as Learn and Use ASL, Use English, Help the Child Attend to Written Forms of English. The SLP will then explain.
The parent and the child will gain comfort and skill in both using ASL and English, thus becoming bilingual.
In this portion of the session, the parents will be encouraged to ask questions and express concern.
Do you have any questions?
Not right now, thank you.
In the next part of the session, the speech-language pathologist will read a book with the parent and the child to demonstrate how to be bilingual with books and print. The SLP will use the Building Bridges Between ASL and English worksheet. The SLP will read a sentence in the story in ASL, and then they will read it again, word for word, in English.
So for this example, to get a little, this is what you do. So basically you would read a sentence, first in English, but then afterwards you would sign a sentence, you would finger spell it, and then point to the exact print. So for chica, I would spell, and then point to the print as I'm doing it to show the child that this sign moves with the exact print. So for here, I can sign chica again, and then boom, and then print to it as I'm doing it.
The SLP will finger spell and then draw attention to corresponding print. The SLP will point out English phrases or simple sentences in the book and then explain the English in ASL. This is to serve as a model for the parent to use in home settings.
You understand?
Yes, very clear.
And that is the end of the session.